obviously all the tariff stuff is not resolved. Okay, not by a long shot. It's only been like 2 weeks, so it's not like everything has been resolved. One big one that hasn't been resolved, and it seems like it's going to escalate more, is with China, because um, China does not like how the U.S. put retaliation tariffs on its goods. So China said it will fight to the end, and then Trump threatened to put more tariffs. So that will start tomorrow. So the tariffs on Chinese goods will be like 80 something percent, 85%, 84%, starting tomorrow. And then China will probably retaliate. But here's the thing. Ben Sent said, this is a big mistake because China's playing with a losing hand, because U.S. buys a lot more from China than China buys from the U.S. So they could be playing tariff wars with the U.S., but they're going to lose. That may be so. But there are a lot of people that are saying that what the U.S. is doing, or what Trump is doing, is driving a lot of, or maybe driving a lot of countries to be doing more trade with China. So they may be offsetting that by doing more trade with other countries. It's all speculation at this point, right? And maybe China does also come to the table and make a deal soon too. We don't know. So this obviously is still ongoing. And it's not just with China, with the EU too. Just yesterday I reported that Trump rejected EU's offer of just going 0 tariffs. So he wants to see more. And so obviously EU did not like that. And they are going forward with their retaliation tariffs. So there's a lot more unresolved business. So you just gotta wait and see, basically. Okay, not everything is resolved, but seems like things may be getting better. Maybe we'll see how today goes. And we'll see. But one thing is for certain: quantitative easing, okay, is going to come. I've been talking about it for the U.S., how we're waiting for it, but it's happening in other countries as well, right? Because quite frankly, countries around the world, they're not doing so well, because we had elevated inflation, or elevated rates, I should say, for so long. Economies around the world been waiting to cut rates, right? To jolt up their economies, to inject liquidity for quite some time. And we were on that path last year. And this year, we're supposed to do it. And, and then we got disrupted by rising inflation and now this. But China is looking to step in. They've been doing a lot of capital injection, and they will do more. Okay, so that is what they plan on doing. And us in the U.S., we're waiting for that as well. And obviously, Bitcoin is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And more people are recognizing that. Day to day, week to week, you may not see that. But the best example I could give is if you look at Bitcoin during the last recession in 2020, what was the low point of Bitcoin in 2020? Some of you guys know, because some of you guys lived through that. Bitcoin fell down to $3,800 briefly. It went from $10,000 in a single day. It fell down from $10,000 to $3,800. And then it stood below $10,000 for approximately 3 months. That's how bad it was in 2020. And look at where we are now. Approximately $80,000. $4,000, $80,000. Okay, so every single cycle, yes, Bitcoin gets much, much stronger as more people recognize it as an inflation hedge and as a store of value. And the next cycle after this, Bitcoin could drop down to 200, 300,000, and people will feel depressed once again. But that's dropping down maybe from 500,000 or $1 million, right? Every cycle, we see Bitcoin form a much higher high and a much higher low. That's just how it is, right? So you got to grab some while you can. And here's the good news, according to many, not just me, the bull run is going to continue. This is from Plan B. A lot of you guys know the stock to flow model. He's looking at the 200-week. There's two means: 200-week arithmetic mean and geometric mean, and how they're like really close together. And he's looking at how those two, back in 2017 and 2021, when they were really, really, really close together, that was the precursor to when Bitcoin really started rising up. You could see the black and gray line when they were squeezing together in 2017. That was the precursor to the huge run. In 2020, precursor to the huge run. And now we're seeing that again. So he's arguing the bull run is going to be coming soon, right? And it makes sense. After we get that quantitative easing, I think so too. It makes a whole lot of sense. Makes a whole lot of sense. And short term, here we go. On a weekly scale, it looks like we're flashing a buy. And the next target could be back to 88,000, as long as we could break above that 82,000, right? So I mentioned that. I mentioned how 82,000 has been a pretty good, solid floor. Love to see Bitcoin above that. And if we could break above that, possibly today, seeing how the stock market is doing so well, and we get some good buys, if we could see Bitcoin go back above 82,000, we could see Bitcoin bounce right back up to 88,000. And then we're not too far off from six figures once again. We'll see.